I've always been fascinated with is space and the universe. And especially for me, how it all began. How did the universe begin? Was there a big explosion that happened, or was it something else? When this experience occurred, when I had this particular beyond body experience, I'd been thinking about this, and I had relayed this through thought to my guides. Actually, maybe I did it quite a few times, and thank goodness my guides are ultimately extremely patient with me. So I'd been thinking about it, and a few days later, actually on 3/26/19, it finally happened. I took a journey back to the beginning, at least what I believe was the beginning. And I'd like to share that with you right now because it was absolutely, positively amazing. Like most of these trips, it began in the middle of the night, and it always happens. You get up to go to the restroom, or you just wake up briefly, perhaps a few hours before you have to be at work, and you just want to shut your eyes just for a little while longer. You want to get some rest. And for me, that's pretty much what happened. I'd gotten up early sometime in the middle of the night, and I realized that it was way too early to start to get ready for work. So I decided to maybe shut my eyes for a little longer. Now, at the time, I had no idea that this trip was going to happen in that moment. Again, I had been requesting this trip for a few days, but nothing had happened. And then when I shut my eyes this time, again, I had no expectations. It finally happened. The motion, the movement, the acceleration, that thing that I talk about so much in the Beyond Body, the way it always begins, that happened. And that acceleration, that motion, that roller coaster like feeling lasted for quite a long time this time. Now, if you followed my Beyond Body experiences, you know that there are times when I have very short trips, and there are times that my trips are longer. And this probably was one of the furthest trips that I've ever taken. It just went on and on and on. And it's so funny. Sometimes I'll sit and think, wow, how long is this going to last? How long am I going to be going? Also, there's this sense of anticipation. And it's anticipation because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm going to be, where I'm going to end up. I have no idea until the surroundings ultimately reveal themselves to me. As I began to slow down, the darkness began to lift, but I have to tell you, while I have these journeys, when these journeys are taking place, things are pretty much pitch dark. I was still in darkness when I began to slow down, but ultimately I could see stars in the distance. And I realized that I was floating in space, but there was no Earth, and I didn't see any other planets. So that was kind of the first thing I thought, wow, this is kind of interesting. It's kind of like empty space. I could feel arms around me, grasping me, and I knew that those arms were my guides. And, thankfully my guides, they're always there. They're always holding on to me. They're always, in a sense, reassuring me everything's okay, despite the fact that you're out in the middle of space someplace, God knows where. It's okay. We got your back. And that is honestly so comforting to me. I could feel their arms turning me slowly, and I realized that I wasn't in empty space at all. There were objects around me, and these objects, my God, they were massive, easily the size of planets. Now, I don't remember much about many of the objects I saw. I honestly don't. But two of the objects stood out to me, and I do remember them fairly clearly. One of the objects was it appeared to be some kind of an asteroid. It was huge, huge, big thing, and there was writing carved into it. Now, it was written in a language that I have no idea what this was, and honestly, if you ask me what it appeared to be, I couldn't tell you. They were scribbles. I really honestly didn't know what it was. But as I saw this asteroid, I said, who created all of this? And a voice, presumably my guide, responded and said that these beings were called the Ra'u. Now, I remember the pronunciation of the Ra'u, although I don't think I can spell it, to be honest, but I do remember the word Ra'u. And then that voice went on to tell me that the Ra'u in English means the helpers. Now, I remember that part too. I carried that with me, the helpers. And I thought, wow, the helpers. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but okay. And so my guide continued to turn me, and I saw this massive face. And it was constructed, it looked like it was constructed perhaps from stone or some similar kind of material. And what I remember most about it, honestly, was its size. It was so big, so massive. I've never seen anything that big before. And I simply stared at it. I just took it in. Even though I didn't understand the significance of it, I was just astonished. It was extraordinary. It was quite amazing. Now, one of the other things that I want to tell you, one of the last things I want to tell you is, and this was something that such a weird feeling. I honestly felt as if, well, along with those arms, I felt as if I was almost wearing something, as if I was looking through some sort of, almost like a glass or something. I don't know. It was really, really strange. I thought of it almost like a sort of a spacesuit, but it wasn't like a visible spacesuit. It was invisible, but it was around me. And I suppose perhaps protecting me. I don't know. I'm not sure. Perhaps something that my guides constructed for me, because I was in the beyond body, I believe, and I wasn't in spirit form. So perhaps this was something that was needed. I'm honestly not sure what it was, but not long after that, I ended up back in my bedroom. I opened my eyes, and yeah, that was it. It was a very interesting experience, and afterwards, I thought about it, and there was very little that I understood, but that's okay. I think over time, I've really come to realize that you don't have to understand everything. Sometimes you can just take something in and experience it, and understanding it is not required. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on another journey with me. And until next time, take care.